Hello, hello. Good morning. I'm just going to make sure that my phone is on Do Not Disturb because I do not want to be disturbed when I'm talking to you. I want to be fully present because it's important to me to talk to you today, being fully present in what I want to talk to you about because I feel like it's really important for us to learn what this is. And you can see I've improved on my trigger cycle a little bit more just because I want to drive home really what it's all around. Because it's essential for our emotional well-being to achieve self-awareness around our emotions so that we can make better decisions on how we respond, basically the things that we say and do when we are triggered based on how we are feeling, because our actions are usually emotionally driven. Good morning, I'm Leslie Gaudette, and I'm an empowerment coach. I teach my clients and help them achieve self-awareness around their emotions so that they learned to not only spot their triggers, but they learn to handle their triggers, manage their emotions, and get back to living a more positive and focus-driven life, achieving basically self-awareness. So it means taking time to really getting to know who you are, being open to change, because guess what? Change is inevitable. And embracing that pivoting may be part of the process. In fact, it's part of the process that we oftentimes will resist. Okay, and we resisted around this. So before I get started, I want to share a little bit with you about me, who I am. Well, I'm a wife of almost 24 years to the love of my life, and I'm a fur baby mom to the cutest pup on earth, Jackson. He's 13 this year. I love to empower men and women all over the world to know and understand their truth so that they are more confident and live a more positive life because they've achieved self-awareness around their emotions, around this, and have learned to make better decisions on how they're feeling when they are triggered. I've often talked, if you've listened to my lives, I've often talked about being in law for many years. When I was in high school, I was asked what I wanted to be, and I came up with two choices: a psychologist or a legal secretary. Totally different, right? Nothing alike. I ultimately chose law, and so at 19, almost 20, I found myself stepping into that role simply by asking a real estate attorney one day if he was looking for help. At the time, I was a switchboard operator answering a lot of phones, and I saw that his phone rang the most. So I simply asked, and he said yes. I received, but I also wanted to achieve more and level up in my career choice. So moving into my 20s, I went for it more, meaning that whatever I wanted to achieve in my life and in leveling up my career, I simply said and did what I needed to do and usually got and did what I wanted because I was super confident that I would get it. Now, moving into my 30s, excuse me, I started accepting my lot in life, meaning I still went after what I wanted, don't get me wrong. But I started finding myself accepting more and more what I got because I guess I started thinking that it was all that I deserved. I didn't speak up for myself like I used to, almost like I stopped believing in that I really actually, whatever that was that I wanted, was possible. Then moving into my 40s, actually I was 45, I started thinking that there's got to be more to life and what I could do, but I couldn't think. I was so like up here. I had so much swirling around in my mind and I felt stuck. So guess what? Another year, 10 years passed me by. Another decade. And like you and a lot of people that I meet daily, I was feeling like I was on a nonstop merry-go-round that I couldn't get off of. Finally, at 55, I woke up and realized it's time to take action, whatever that action was, whatever it might be. It didn't matter. I just had to do something. I started researching women's groups just to start networking. I wanted to start networking with people, other women, to find out what are they doing or what did they do to transition out of what they used to do into something new and exciting. And that is when I did meet someone who got me into the health and wellness space, which is kind of where I had originally thought I was going to go anyways, like one of the things I had thought about before I started law. Because remember, psychologist was one of my choices way back in high school. So now fast forward a few decades to when I finally started taking back my life, when I finally figured out the trigger cycle. and not only created strategies that work and started implementing them in my own life, and I started living a more positive and happier life, I started to share it with others, and I've been helping others get results as well. And that's why I started my free Facebook group, Manager Triggers VIP Academy, which is where you learn to do what I do, but more on that later. So let's talk about this cycle, the trigger cycle. What is it exactly? So this is a cycle that we're on repeat every day, okay? So it's just basically our emotions and things that happen to us that drive the decision-making process in our life. So what are triggers? Well, triggers can be things like the anniversary date of loss or trauma. It could be maybe a scary event that happens in the news. We all experience that now more than ever. It could be family friction, maybe the end of a relationship, financial problems. A couple that resonate really more with me, a lot with me, not only with financial problems, which I was able to really get a handle on. And I can come back to you with a really great tip that helped me on that. And I'll come back to you maybe later on another live. But then there's maybe you've been judged, criticized, teased, or put down in your life. And that can really like trigger you if something like similar to that happens. Or last but not least, isolation, spending way too much time alone. Oh, one more I just thought about, being overwhelmed, with time, feeling like you have so much to do in your life, but not enough time. Guess what? We all have the same amount of time in the day, but it's just how we effectively manage our time. It's just it helps us, right? To just get through our lives when we have a really good plan in place. But learning how to do that, that's another story. But getting back to that, so that's what triggers are. And what do triggers do? They fuel our emotions. So the way we feel based on a trigger. So again, as I said, it could be the anniversary date of loss or trauma. And so what happens is in our lives, we have memories, right? Things that happen to us, events. And around that memory, we assign an emotion and we lock it away for future use. We don't realize that we're doing that, but we are. It's just, that's what we do. And so at some point in our life, something happens to trigger that, meaning it could be the anniversary date of a loss or trauma, which triggers an emotion, how you feel. And then that emotion, what it can do, it can drive your responses of what you say and do all day long on that day, because of how you're feeling based on that trigger. And so then what happens is the things that we say or we do, if it's a negative emotion, typically that's what happens, is then that action that we take, the thing that we say or do, once we cool off, because that is a negative thing, it takes us down, we start feeling guilt, shame, and regret. So that's our reward. And on top of that, in order to make it better, we got to go back and fix it. Because maybe along the line, we've hurt somebody's feelings. We've done something that has hurt someone. We've said something that has maybe undermined us, and maybe at work with a colleague. So it's just having to go back. So with the trigger that fuels our emotion drives our responses, what we say and do. Our response, our actions provide our reward. So typically, the byproduct is a negative reward or a positive reward. Positive is really when you've gained self-awareness around this, how you emotionally show up so that you make better decisions. And that would be a positive reward, right? So this week, I want to talk to you about pivoting. I'm going to take this down. I'm going to talk to you about pivoting and all around self-awareness, because self-awareness is really key to learning how to manage and navigate that cycle that we are on repeat every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. So again, what are your triggers? How do you feel when you're triggered? How do you respond when you start feeling this way? What's your reward? Is it positive or negative? Basically, what I want to talk to you is how learning to pivot can help you. Now, as I said, I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about what pivoting in this process can do to help you navigate this cycle, the trigger cycle that I just showed you. And so it's just a few more minutes just to get you thinking about it. And I'm going to really dive into it more the next few days. But today I just want to talk to you just 3 things to talk to you about. Number 1, pivoting is a mindset. And In other words, mindset is key in order for you to pivot, even when you are afraid of the outcome, which we mostly are. And you're usually fearful because you don't have control. You don't have control over it, and you don't know what the outcome will be, so you don't have control of the outcome. But with a pivot-driven mindset, being okay to pivot, in other words, you're going to be allowing yourself to be open to new opportunities, new possibilities that may even be greater than what you thought possible or even dreamed was possible, right? Number 2, change is inevitable. So get over it. Change happens. Everything changes. In fact, you could have gotten up 5 minutes later today. So what happens? Parts of your schedule have changed, right? Change is inevitable. Nothing remains the same, and not even when things change, because even if something changes today, it can change again in an instant because you may need to pivot. So when you embrace change, you're also embracing that pivoting, learning to pivot, may be part of the process to achieving your own self-awareness around your triggers, right? Your emotions when you are triggered, so that you can make better decisions that are not emotionally driven, but that you are driving with your self-awareness, hence better decisions. And number 3, it teaches you how to adapt. Again, embrace change, embrace pivoting. It will teach you to adapt to both. And when you adapt, you will be happier because you are not resistant. I can give you one example in my life where this was a painful wake-up call for me. So going back to law, I was living in Florida and getting ready to go back to Canada because that's where I grew up. I was going back to Toronto. And I was fortunate enough to get a job over the telephone because I had made really good connections with people, always kept really great relationships with the people that I had worked with in the past, and was able to secure a job over the telephone before I got back to Canada. But once I got back into that job and started in this new dynamic, and things changed a little bit a couple months in, all of a sudden I get called into HR's office with another colleague, and what happened? It changed the whole dynamic. So what I was used to working with a certain lawyer that I had worked with previously for many years, in this new setup, HR felt, let's just switch it up. And a brand new girl came in, was given to work with this lawyer that I had worked with. And I was put into a situation working with someone else who was resistant to that. And so it was not a very good working environment. That person, I felt, didn't embrace that change. I was forced to embrace that change, we were both forced to, and in that, it just didn't work out as far as there was heads butting. It just wasn't a happy situation. Eventually, a couple more months in, HR realized that they needed to fix this, and they changed it back to the way it was. But again, that was painful for me. It was a wake-up call, realizing that even though I thought, that this was, I knew where I was going to work, that I had to be open to the dynamics of my job changing within that setting, even if I didn't like it, and I had to just be open to it. And again, it eventually, worked out, and I was able to get back to being happier in that role. It just was really painful reminder to me that I had no control over that. I had no control over how that situation in my life was going to work. I had to be open to and accepting that change is inevitable, and I had to allow myself to pivot. Again, as I said, I got to pivot back, but I just had to be open to both and adapt to it. So I'm going to be talking to you more about pivoting throughout the week, and definitely will help get you moving in the right direction, because again, having an attitude of accepting pivoting will help you to navigate this cycle that we just spoke about more freely, okay? You'll feel better about it. You'll feel more confident around it. So again, number 1, pivoting is mindset. 2, change is inevitable. And 3, it teaches you how to adapt. when you allow yourself to embrace change and pivoting. You know, if I had decided 2 years ago to finally step up and figure out why I felt that there was more to life and to actually step into the health and wellness industry and go on my journey to self-discovery and awareness, I probably would still be stuck. Working unhappily in an industry where my life and how I lived my life was dictated by my job and how much time I had for me and my husband, or in any parts of my life. My husband, you know, connecting with each other, how much time I could even actually spend with other people, like friends and family, quality time. And even if there was any time for me to do the things that I like to do, that I love to do, I was so unhappy, miserable actually, and stressed to the brink. I had no life. And at one point I even said to my husband, you know what, if I keep going like this, I'm literally going to have a heart attack. I felt it. I'm serious. I felt it. You know, I sure wish that I had someone talk to me back when, you know, to talk to you about the cycle that I just talked to you about, how we navigate it, how we navigate it daily. And if I had someone to talk to you about that back when I was deciding what I wanted to do with my life in high school, if I could have understood that back then, maybe I would have been in a better and more focused mindset emotionally to make better decisions about where I wanted to go with my life, where I wanted to take it, what I really wanted to do. But guess what? No looking back with regret, because I do love my life. My life's path has gotten me here, and I'm super happy because maybe by changing anything, again, by me even wishing to go back and change anything, would mean that I'm not grateful for everything that I have, and I am super grateful for everything that I have. So I'm just putting in the comments here. So that's why I started my free Facebook group, and I just put it in the comments. Manage Your Triggers VIP Academy. I couldn't keep this to myself any longer, because who was I to be the only one gaining self-awareness around this cycle that's on repeat? Let me just take this down and put that up there again for you to see, because it is on repeat every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. Scary thing to think about, right? This cycle on repeat. I knew that I was onto something really great, and that I can really help a lot of people achieve self-awareness around their emotions so that they can handle their triggers, manage their emotions, meaning making better decisions based around how they're feeling, and live a more positive life. In essence, awareness around how they navigate and can navigate this daily cycle. Again, I said the group is free. I put it in the comments. You'll get community of like-minded individuals who not only are there because they want to and are ready to learn how to do this, gain self-awareness around this, but they're going to support, uplift, and encourage each other with no judgment. Accountability, mental coursework where I will provide you with real things that you can do today, starting today, to start teaching you, helping you learn that there really is a way to navigate this through self-awareness, though. Self-awareness is key. Expansion of your comfort zone. I will give you challenges every month, meaning these challenges are meant to challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone so that you learn to stretch your mental comfort zone, right? You learn to stretch who you are. You learn to not be fearful of it. You learn to embrace and accept that change is inevitable, and that pivoting, if you allow yourself to pivot, it's amazing. If you allow yourself to pivot, I can't even explain to you how my life has changed other than for the best, but not just me. I have a client who, not only because she's gone through this with me, the program that I have a program that I have gone through with her, teaching her how to go through this piece here, but she was stuck in the past on a lot of things. So I helped her embrace a lot of that and release it so that she could then manage this piece here, her emotions that are driven by her triggers, so she's able to show up and make better decisions around how she's feeling. So that was really amazing to work with this woman and to get her where she is today. She's got her own business. And now I'm helping her to learn what she needs to do to start stepping into that more. And what does that look like and the things that she can do. Now she can think more clearly and show up in ways that she never could before. So excited for her. And last but not least, you're going to have access to me. I go live every Thursday evening at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with a live Q&A where you can ask me anything. If you need a strategy or a quick tip on something that you're going through, or maybe someone that you know is going through. But then I would encourage you to get them to join the group because, again, it's free. So if you can relate to this and you're looking to level up your emotional awareness around your triggers, and you're ready to take back control of your emotions, which of course is the only piece right now in this cycle that you can start with learning to control, then I encourage you to join my free Facebook group and join the community who've already said yes to, it's time for me, meaning they're saying this, it's time for me to take back control of my emotions and start living a more positive life. Because wouldn't it be great if you could start living the life you love right now and start loving the life you are living, right? Wouldn't that be great to just have that happen for you? I really, really hope this was helpful for you to hear today. I am looking forward to all week talking to you about how learning to pivot is going to help you in this triggers cycle. That's what I call it, the triggers cycle. And I'm hoping that that you are really looking to level up around that, because only you can do that. You have control over you. You have control whether or not you show up for you or whether you don't. You have control over how you emotionally respond to something, if you allow it to manage you, or if you are willing to learn to take back that control. Only you. And I'm here to help you through that process by teaching you there are ways to do that. So again, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate your support. Thank you for showing up today. It shows me that I am on the right track by getting your support, your love for me to keep going. I only ask you help me, help others by sharing my video. We need to get this message out there because someone really needs to hear this today. It could be a friend, it could be a family member, even a work colleague. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe they're on this perpetual cycle and allowing their emotions to manage them, and they just can't get off of that hamster wheel, and they're looking for a way to do that. My Facebook group could be that for them because, again, it's free. I don't know how many times I can say free, but I think free is great, right? When things are free, I love free things. And yeah, the only thing that's not free about the group is you deciding to, because I can't give that to you. Only you can freely give that to you, your decision to join the group, right? So I can't give that to you. I can't give that away. But I can give you a free resource, a free place to go to learn how to manage this piece here, which is what you have control over. So again, thank you so much for watching. Remember to navigate your day with an attitude of gratitude, because with the right mindset, with the right attitude, puts you into the right mindset, so that when you're in the right mindset, you are able to show up better around, become more self-aware around your emotions. Even if maybe you can't control that emotion today, at least if you start bringing self-awareness around that you are being emotional around something, and you're starting to say, oh yeah, that's how I typically show up. That's the first step, right? Is actually becoming self-aware around that piece. And again, as I said, the group will help you through things that I will provide you, the tools and the strategies to help you to actually do what you want to do, which is take care of that piece. And then all of this here, you'll have better control over how you only show up, and you'll have better responses, better decisions, better, just better rewards, more positive. Now, it's not going to be easy because this is something you'll have to do every day. Because like I said, this is a cycle on repeat every day. Nobody gets out of it. By the way, you can't buy your way out of it. You can't talk your way out of it. Someone else can't go through it for you. This is something you're going to go through every day. Just being able to show up for you is so important and key to this. So I hope that this was helpful. Again, my name is Leslie Godet, and I'm an empowerment coach. I help my clients achieve self-awareness around their emotions so they can handle the triggers, manage their emotions, and get back to what's most important in a fabulous life. I hope you have an amazing, amazing day. And I know that I'm really super excited. I'm super excited for today, actually. I'm actually going to put in my comment again here because it didn't look like it showed up. So I'm putting it in again. Again, if you are ready to access the group to level up your emotional awareness around your triggers, then click the link below. I'm looking forward to being there for you, sharing with you, and helping you gain self-awareness so that you can live a fabulous life. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.